We're super excited to do this webinar. I think some of you have probably been at other webinars now. We've got some familiar names there. I can't acknowledge the people that are registered under phone numbers and things, but this is something we've done before, but there's new things. So if you've heard our programmatic mail or direct mail retargeting before, I don't want you to think this is a repeat. To date, we have never done a pre-recorded replay webinar. Everything is always live, so you can watch us mess up real time. I'm going to let Morgan have most of the opportunity to have the tongue twisters and mess ups here, so I'm sure I'll make a few myself. But my role here as CEO of Direct Mail 2.0 is really just to be an MC and kind of pepper this with some new and upcoming information, which I'll share at different points throughout this. This is an area that we're diving into with both hands and both feet. It's super exciting technology. We're taking on another data vendor and technology provider. We built new technology, and this is kind of like a prime the pump for some really cool things that are actually, there's a couple of partners that we're beta testing this with now. One of the things that I'll preface this as people kind of get settled in for another minute or so is, you know, whereas the technology may be amazing, it's really only as good as the data you're being provided. And we are not a data provider, we are a technology platform. So we are in the middle of moving to another data provider. At the same time, we rebuilt our entire technology in this area. But before we go into our technology and exactly what we do, it's really important that you understand the segment and what this area is, because, you know, like anything, we are not the only provider. I like to think we are the best provider. This is something that's a personal hobby for me, and my job is to stay on the cutting edge of this technology. And I'd like to think I'm doing an okay job at this. So I think at this point, I am going to ask Morgan to introduce herself. I'll introduce her. I'm the MC, it's my job. So Morgan is the Vice President of Channel Sales. So what that means is when we get a reseller on board, her and her team manage that and ensure that the the resellers and partners have hopefully unlimited success, and they understand, use, and proliferate our technology to all of their clients with fantastic results. So enough of me. Morgan, take it from here, at least for a few minutes.
Thanks, man. Thank you for that warm introduction. I appreciate it.
I don't hear you. Hopefully other people do.
You can't hear me?
Can anybody comment in the chat and confirm that they can hear Morgan? Because I don't.
They can all hear me, they said.
Okay. You know what? As long as other people can hear,
fantastic.
I'm not going to get involved. Unfortunately, I don't know what she's saying. So what is the story?
Well, that's not good. Maybe someone can try to help you with your audio, because how can you jump
I'll figure out my problem. Morgan, take it away and I'll figure it out.
Hey, there's never a webinar, it wouldn't be any fun without some IT or technical issues, right? So anyway, I'm super excited to talk today about programmatic mail campaigns and direct mail retargeting. Typically, I speak about integrated marketing or omni-channel marketing. And so today we're going to drill into a very specific technology called Lead Match, and how you can utilize this technology to create and deliver high response yielding programmatic mail campaigns. So the average business uses 4 or more marketing channels when promoting and typically utilizing one of 2 different marketing tactics. So in layman terms, omni-channel marketing is delivering the exact same message across multiple channels to the same audience. And you're familiar, any of our partners that are on the webinar today, you're familiar. That's what we do with our 7 to 11 technology platform, right? Direct Mail 2.0. But also they might utilize a multi-channel marketing strategy where they're utilizing several channels to deliver channel specific messaging, sometimes to different audiences and with different messaging in each channel. Okay. So all of these channels are leading to the website. It doesn't matter if it's billboards, radio, direct mail, TV commercials, digital, everything is driving people to the website. And MIT did a study. They actually showed that 90% of people interested in an ad or marketing message are going to the website. And this makes perfect sense to me because this is how I respond to marketing, right? Oh, what's this? I'm interested. Let me Google them and do some research on the site prior to making a buying decision. Well, this is fantastic. We've captured somebody's attention. Our marketing is working, right? But 96% of people will leave without making that buying decision. You're getting an average of about a 4% conversion rate or less on your website, okay? So with advertising or marketing, we're creating reach and interest, but people are not necessarily converting once they get there. So what are people doing when they leave our site? Well, if they're a savvy shopper like me, and most people are, they're looking into the competition. I want to know what other businesses out there have, the same products, the same services, what their price points are, what's their reputation. Are they running any specials on whatever it is that I'm interested in? I'm looking at reviews, testimonials. People want to be pro buyers. We want to know what we are buying, and we want to know that we're getting the best bang for our buck. So I hate to break it to you, but a portion of your marketing is driving traffic to your competitors, right? So we have 3 different types of people that will make it to a website. We've got people that don't want to buy at all. They're just browsing. They're never going to buy. Okay. Then you have people that are they're not ready to buy right now, but they're a potential buyer. They're interested. And then you have people that are ready to buy right now, cash in hand. And that's your small 4% instant conversion. And who we want to focus on today is consumer B, the person who is going to buy, but they're just not ready to buy yet. This is the greatest portion of that 96% of people that are making it to your website. They're responding to your marketing, but they're leaving. So what can we do to recapture their attention and drive them back to our website for conversion? Well, most businesses utilize digital retargeting to re-engage, Google or social media retargeting. And we have all experienced this. You're looking at something online, you leave the website, and that product or service is following you everywhere. And sometimes this is micro-targeted or product specific, where that pair of shoes or that bag is following you everywhere. Or this might be done on a branding level, where you go to a website and then Geico Insurance is following you everywhere. And most businesses have this included in their marketing strategy. And honestly, you should, because you don't want your competitors to have it incorporated and not you. Because remember, a portion of your marketing is driving traffic to competitor sites. So we need to ensure that our company is the one front and center when we're trying to re-engage the prospect. But again, most people or most companies or organizations have this incorporated into their marketing strategy. So there is a way that you can truly stand out from traditional retargeting efforts and ensure that you get a spotlight, because that's really what we want. So you can do retargeting and do the exact same thing, but you can do it with direct mail. So you can retarget website visitors with mail by sending them custom pieces to customers or prospects, people that have engaged on your website. And it's also extremely effective. In fact, about 47% of marketing respondents said that retargeted direct mail increased conversion rates. So we're going to show you today how you can send direct mail pieces to website visitors with content that they were viewing on your website, so it's relevant to them, and with an offer to drive them back to convert. So how do we do this? Well, there's a technology that we would give you a pixel, you place it on the header of your site. It takes about 2 seconds to do. It's just a little snippet of code, goes on the header of the website, so that when someone goes to your website, we will first track the IP that they're pinging off of. we'll look at the device ID, and we'll also look at the cookies on the device. So every time that I go to purchase something or I go to fill out a web form, and all of my information auto-populates, my name, address, phone number, email, that is a cookie. It's a cookie, and I allow that for convenience sake because I don't want to type it out every time I go to buy something. But think about how much data that's providing about me, who I am, where I live, my phone number, right? These are all identifying factors about a website visitor that we're able to aggregate from this pixel. So we take all three of those data points, we ping it across a 300+ point pattern and match system, and we pull out and we deliver a 95% accurate residential address. But above and beyond that, we can tell the pages that they were on and visited so that you know specifically what they were interested in. So you can remarket to them about products and services that are relevant to them. And we can even tell you how long they spent on those pages. So you know how interested they are, and you can remarket to the most qualified prospects. So why should you be doing this? Well, let's dig into the data that shows why, okay? And it'll show that this is one of the most successful retargeting efforts available. So 81% of consumers want brands to know them and understand when to approach them and when not to. So with this technology, we're providing you with a list of people who are raising their hand. They're telling you, I am interested. People who are interested in your products and services right now. And they're specifically telling you what they're interested in, so you can send them offers on things that they are actually looking at. And in all reality, there is nobody more qualified to receive a direct mail piece than an anonymous website visitor. And people want to be marketed to about things that they're interested in. I mean, absolutely, I want that 15% off on that pair of shoes that I was just looking at, and that I looked at 4 different online retail locations. That offer you just sent me pushed me over into converting and buying with you. So 80% of sales are made between the 8th and the 12th contact, okay? We repeat this statistic like wildfire because we know that what's effective in marketing is repetition and consistency. Right? So this is why it's so important for you to retarget your website visitors, because there's so many variables that occur in the decision-making process. Maybe it's timing, finances, or many other things, depending upon what that buying decision might be. And the more instances that you can get in front of the interested buyer, the more opportunities you're creating for them to convert. And by using direct mail retargeting, you're creating that ultimate serendipitous moment where the specific product or service that the website visitor was interested in is right in front of them and with an offer to seal the deal. So direct mail retargeting can lead to a 14% decrease in abandoned shopping carts, an 8% increase in average order size, and 68% of marketers who use retargeted direct mail reported an increase in their website traffic. Well, this makes sense. I see an ad, I go to your site, I add something to the cart, but then I think to myself, you know, Morgan, you don't need this right now, right? So I don't know. Let me just leave. Let me abandon cart. But something pops up before I go to leave. Wait, 10% off if you check out now. Yeah, 10% isn't that good, whatever, you know, I leave. Well, 2 days later, I receive a direct mail piece with a picture of the item that I was looking at and 20% off. And I think to myself, now you're talking, I'm going to come back to the site and I'm probably going to buy 2 because now I'm perceiving a higher value. And that is how that works. So let's talk about the 4 stages of direct mail retargeting and tying this on to consumer behavior and how we can optimize these micro-targeted campaigns based on one of these 4 stages, okay? So we're going to talk about the awareness stage, the consideration stage, the purchase stage, and one of my favorites, the loyalty stage. So first, let's look at the awareness stage. These are people who they're just browsing on your website. They aren't necessarily looking to make a purchase today, probably on the home page, some category level pages, maybe a product page, but they're not really drilling down in individual products. So the messaging you want to use should be very broad. Okay, very broad but relevant. Use a strong call to action because you want to get them enticed to come back to start looking at the more granular things on the website. Then you have the consideration stage. This is where people are looking at specific products. They're also looking at reviews, testimonials. This person should receive a mail piece that specifically speaks to what they were looking at, and it should have a compelling offer that is in conjunction to that product or service that they were looking at. Then there is the purchase stage. These are your hottest people, the people that place something in their cart, they started to fill out that form and abandon the action. These are the people that you need to be focusing on. And if you do nothing else, you need to be retargeting these people. These are the prospects you can push over into conversion. Just make them a compelling offer and they'll come back, right? So I'm going to show you examples in a few minutes here of some direct mail pieces that were utilized for direct mail retargeting with compelling offers. Okay, but before we get into that, I want to talk about the loyalty stage. Okay, so I get asked to suppress existing customers from website visitor data all the time and ask, Morgan, why would I want to purchase a list of my customers? I already know who they are. I already have their contact information. Well, 80% of sales come from 20% of your customers. If a customer that has purchased something from you in the past isn't converting, wouldn't you want to know that? What if they were looking for the same product somewhere else? I can't tell you how many times I went to purchase something from a company that I purchased from in the past, or I might even be on a loyalty program with them. And I've just left because the value wasn't in it there for me. But if they were to send me a 15 to 20% off coupon, guess what? I'd be back and make that purchase so fast that their head would spin, right? Or what if customers are buying A from you, but you also sell B, C, and D? Wouldn't you want to know if they're interested in your ancillary products and services and capture additional revenue streams from existing customers? Absolutely, right? Just because you have their contact information doesn't mean this data is invaluable, and you should be using it to your advantage. So let's hone in on some of the keys to success in direct mail retargeting. So first of all, speed. Time is of the essence here. These people are hot. They are on the website now. They're interested right now. And you should be sending them a direct mail piece within 48 to 72 hours of their most recent website visit. This is really essential, actually. You want to get to them before they make a buying decision with somebody else. And also personalize the message. So it's relevant to what they were looking at on the website, so it will grab their attention and impinge. And you can use the data that we're providing in this technology to know specifically what they were looking at and send them a relevant offer. But most importantly, have a clear call to action to use that offer. Tell them exactly what they need to do while keeping the messaging relevant to your marketing so it's recognized and enforces your brand. And something that I'm a huge advocate of is expiration dates. Give them a time it's going to end. Make them act now. You want them to act now rather than later. So some examples of effective programmatic mail creative. This one is an example of hyper-personalized messaging. This card is personalized to Jay. Hey, Jay, we know you're a sneakerhead and we got you 25% on our new collection. Notice they didn't say, hey, Jay, we know you were on our website. They just say, hey, we know you're a sneakerhead and we got you. They know he was on the website looking at sneakers and also that he was looking at the new collection. So now they're offering him 25% off to come back and buy. And also clearly this list was appended for names because it's specifically saying Jay. And we'll get into how we can do that here shortly. Okay. Use an eye-catching offer. You can't refuse. The better the offer, the higher the conversion rate. And here's an example from Graze. So their offer was a free Graze box. There's a clear call to action on what to do, how to take advantage of the offer, and they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're offering them a free box. Now, granted, you have to put your credit card number in and opt into receiving a box on a subscription basis, but it's an incredibly enticing offer, right? But it's also showing step-by-step instructions on what you're supposed to do. And most people are going to take advantage of this, and they will get residual revenue from it. So what is this technology we're using to capture all of this information about website visitors? Well, it's called Lead Match, okay? And we talked a little bit about how it works by putting a pixel on the website and how we're identifying a website visitor through the utilization of this technology. But you can also append additional data to what's provided to make your programmatic mail campaigns even more effective. So we know that when people respond to marketing, they're going to your website. 90% of people who respond to your marketing, any of your marketing, okay, whether it's direct mail, billboards, TV, digital, whatever it is, they're going to your website. Don't you want to know who these people are so you can continue to market to them and increase your overall conversion on all of your marketing across the board? Absolutely you do, right? Absolutely. And so Lead Match is a patent pending technology that is identifying those website visitors. We're giving you that 95% accurate residential address for those website visitors so you can remarket to them and drive them into conversion. We're also giving you those top 5 URLs so you know what they're interested in and that average duration of time. And Brad's going to elaborate here in a little bit because we are rolling out this new technology with updates, updates to the filtration, and a lot more powerful data that will be backed with this new vendor and our new technology. So I'm excited for him to dive into that a little bit. But you know what you're doing here with this technology is you're building the most viable mailing list there are, right? People that are interested in your products and services right now. You're giving an opportunity to clearly identify who they are and to retarget them and drive them back to your website. And 60% of marketing respondents said that retargeted direct mail increased their return on investment for all of their marketing efforts combined, right? Because everybody is going to your website. So when you can retarget people who are responding from all of your marketing channels and drive them into converting, you're now boosting your overall marketing ROI. Wow, what a super valuable tool, right? And personalization also increases response to direct mail. So we legally can only provide a residential address to stay within privacy regulations. And Brad's also going to expound a little bit on privacy here in a few slides too. However, you can take your list of the residential addresses and you can send it to a data append provider to append for names, email addresses, phone numbers, and other demographic data to create more personalized and targeted lists and even use that data in other marketing channels. So data appending involves taking known customer data, which in our case is a postal address, and matching it against databases to obtain additional information. So for example, let's say you're a bank, you want to place the Lead Match pixel on your home equity loan or credit page. You capture the residential address of the website visitor interested in a home equity loan. You append name to the address, and then you place the name on the mail piece. But you can also append, do they own a single family home, and income information to trim all the fat off of the leads and market to the most highly qualified people. You can actually get that targeted and increase ROI by marketing to the right people by using the power of data. So we need to be incorporating programmatic mail into our marketing strategy. We spend thousands of dollars on marketing, and 96% of people are leaving our websites after showing an initial interest. So this is the missing link here to drive all those marketing efforts over the threshold and into conversion. It's that final push, right? Follow-up is key, whether it's in sales or marketing, and we should be using readily available technology to our advantage. People want to be marketed to about things that are relevant to them, and they also want to feel important. So by using the power of data appends, you can put somebody's name on a mail piece and it's going to capture their attention. People are going to be more willing to share their data in a lead form for product recommendations that are relevant to them, that they're interested in. And there are a large group of people who will actually only engage in offers that are personalized to their previous engagements. The data is saying we need to be doing this. We need to be using this technology to our advantage. And with this technology, we can also create and provide very seamless programmatic mail drip campaigns where mailers are going out to your leads on a daily basis so you can get in front of interested prospects as soon as possible. Create a follow-up mailer. Have this set to go out, then have your website leads pulled on a daily basis, appended for relevant data, and sent to print. A complete web to print solution so no lead is left behind and your ROI and marketing efforts is skyrocketing. And it will skyrocket because we've seen astronomically high response rates when these website leads are mailed to. That's hovering between 9 and 18%. And this is a statistic that is across over 260 different industries that we service that are participating in this direct mail retargeting technology and these type of programmatic mail campaigns. And you know what? It makes perfect sense to me. Why? Because it's checking off all the boxes of what's successful in marketing. And in my opinion, it's actually the silver bullet of marketing because it's providing opportunities to mail to the right people at the right place and at the right time. So real quickly, before I shoot it back over to Brad, what about B2B? You're hearing me talk about giving you a 95% accurate residential address. Well, hey, Morgan, I'm in B2B. I mail to businesses. I don't want a residential address. Well, of course you want a residential address because in an organization, what you want is the decision maker. And if I'm the one responsible for that product or service, I will be the one that is on your website looking for it. So now you have an opportunity to acquire a 95% accurate residential address for me, send me a direct mail piece with a great offer to divert my attention away from the 5 or 6 other organizations that I'm shopping you on. What if I'm working from home? Are you going to reach me at my business address? Absolutely not. Do you think you're going to make it past my receptionist or office manager's desk? I don't know. But if you get my residential address, you've got a mainline right to me, and I look at 100% of my residential mail. Sounds to me like a win-win because now I've got a great offer on a solution I need for my business, and you've had an opportunity to get it to me. So Brad's going to expound a little bit more on B2B and privacy and our exciting new updates to our lead match technology. So Brad, back to you.
Awesome, Morgan. Thank you so much. So listen, in this new data package that we're rolling out, we will feature B2b leads. So in other words, if somebody from a business that you're trying to attract goes to the website, we will return that business address. Not only that, we'll have some information about the size of their business and maybe some key contacts as well. But as well, you can't see it because it's so small, but if you blow up your screen, we even give you the LinkedIn page for that business, the website for that business, and some estimated annual revenues. So yes, this product will work for that. And this means if you have any clients or prospects that have any kind of website that sell any kind of service or product, this actually will work for any of your clients now. And I wanted to stress something is, and I don't know how much you're familiar with the history of digital marketing, but if you go back 10, 12 years when retargeting first came out, you go to a website and now you're following around with that ad, and it was like the bee's knees for years. It's like if you weren't doing this, you were like out to the pasture and you were just left behind. I believe direct mail retargeting and programmatic mail is that new killer app for marketing, okay? Tactile ink on paper is going into a mailbox that is not as crowded, all right? And I wish I had some of these stats to show you, but the Gen Z and the millennials don't remember the days of mailboxes filled with junk mail, all right? It's not part of their growing up. I mean, when I was a kid, and I'm an older guy, that mailbox was just filled with catalogs and like this thick every day with stuff you're trying to sell. And it was like, oh my God. Now If you're like me, maybe you get 3 or 4 pieces of advertising mail in your mailbox every day, and you look at each one. Even if you're standing over the garbage can, you're looking at each one, all right? But it's going in your hand and you're looking at it. When your email box has 300 emails on it and you haven't gone through them in a few days, delete all, ignore. You get an inbox with 10,000 emails. You're going into a crowded atmosphere or crowded environment. The mailbox is almost that new killer app. So this is something that all printers and agencies should be coming back to. So now that I've said my piece on that, let me explain what we're doing here with our Lead Match 3.0. A new data vendor with, I'm hoping, much more accurate data. B2b leads. So we can do anything now, all right? But one of the things we're allowing is we're going deeper into the filtering, because no one wants to buy leads they don't want. You know, who wants to buy? You got 10,000 visitors to your website. Well, you're not going to mail to 10,000 people because it's going to break your bank. It's going to bust your budget. I get it. So what we've done is we've created an algorithm that we're calling engagement score. So everybody that comes to the website that we've been able to identify, we're going to give them a score from 1 to 10. Now, without getting into our proprietary algorithm here, based on the number of times they've come, the pages they visited, how much time they spent on individual pages, did they make it to your target page, whether it's a product catalog or a form or a success page, did they come within a certain amount of time of a mailing? Did they come from a certain zip code range that you're targeting? So we take all this stuff together and we assign different points to different actions they took, and we come up with an engagement score from 1 to 10. So you as the user can select, well, I only want the 10s because, you know, these are the best guys, and you take this little slider, you can't see it because it's microscopic, but if you slide it to the 10, it'll say, how many leads do you have that are rated a 10? And if it says there's 6, well, you know, maybe that's not enough. So we slide it to a 9. And now, now you've got, 60. Still not too many. I want to go a little lower. You slide it to a 7, you got 500. So this will take that into account for you and allow you to hone in on the best leads or cast a wider net depending on the engagement score that you want to target. The other additional thing is, if you really are a data geek like I can be, we're going to give you every one of these different points. And I think there's about 12 or 14 of them. And you can use, and I'm going to use a big word here, Boolean logic, where you can say include, exclude, and combine 12 different things and get the exact drill down into the kind of customer you want to mail to. And then you can put that on auto delivery. And if you are a cutting edge printer, you can take those leads, either export them to a pending person who will add all sorts of other information, which I'll explain why I don't do that in a second, and feed it right into your printer. Hopefully you have a variable data printer and you'll see the URLs that you wanted to select. Maybe you only want guys that went to a certain section of the website. Well, you can only include those, develop an offer that's specific to those people, and I'll give you a use case. Use cases always help me. Let's say you have a HVAC company and you're running a promotion on Carrier HVAC. So you can go and select all the leads of all the guys that spent time on the Carrier page on your website over the last 60 days and say, hey, we've got an offer on a discount on Carrier air conditioning, okay, for the next month. And you can send them a very relevant, specific postcard. You drop in the mail, boom, it's out. So let's drill back, because I've got questions here that people ask, why can't we email to these, or et cetera, et cetera. So this issue on privacy is becoming a very delicate issue. And again, it may not be relevant to all clients, but we find the bigger the client, the bigger the brand, the more they run from anything that smells of privacy, gray areas, or even worse, black market areas. So privacy is defined around personally identifiable information. Okay, personally identifiable information means you've got an individual and you have something very specific about that exact person. An email address, a social security number, an IP address, some sort of financial information, some sort of medical information directly linked to that individual. So if I were to provide the name, email address, phone number, and residential address of a person on your site, I've now violated or I've now given away personally identifiable information. And to make matters worse, your client doesn't know who I am. And I've got this information about your client's prospective client. So we're getting into a really, really strongly contested area. But if I give a postal address and someone in that household spent their time on certain pages of that site, I'm not telling you who it is. There could be 25 people living at that address. I don't know, but I can tell you all I'm giving you is a postal address and someone in that house went to certain pages on your site. I'm not giving you any personally identifiable information. Now, if you take that information and then you go to an appending company, well, one, that's on you. You know your client, you have the relationship with your client, you know if they have privacy concerns. It's not something that we're comfortable doing, and we're protecting ourselves and we're protecting you and we're protecting your client. So this is how we do it. We let you go to that appending company, take the information we're willing to share, go to whoever you want, get that appended information and do whatever you want with it. We just can't have any part of it, all right? And depending on the sensitivity and risk tolerance of your client or yourself, you may want to evaluate that decision as well. But this is why we don't do it. A postal address is public information, okay? And I'm not telling you who in that house did what. I'm just saying someone at that business or someone at that house did these actions. So this is why we don't do this. And listen, if you send a piece of mail to a mailbox in that person's house, most likely, most of the people in the house go through that mail. It sits on the kitchen table, a little postcard goes on the fridge, or it lays on a pile on the counter for days. So that message will hopefully very likely get to the person you're targeting, even without the name of that person. So this is the premise of this. And you know what? Let's say that somebody else in the household sees it and they act on it. Do you really care? You don't care. So the more the merrier. So I would just like to impart that if this is not something you're doing for your clients or your prospects, you should be doing. It is the new retargeting, the new digital ads of 10 years ago. So please consider this. In fact, we don't charge anything for you to start compiling this list. The financial obligation only begins when you purchase that mailing list. But you can see how many people are coming. You can see the most visited pages. We provide that information at no charge until there's a deliverable of those addresses. Every one of your clients should have what we call a lead match only campaign, and they should be building a mailing list and begin seeing the value of the visitors that they're not capturing with our product. So that's my speech. Is there something else that I missed, Morgan, to go over on this?
No, it sounds good, but someone was asking about how postal address is not PII, and I think it might be prudent to just expound on the fact that it's not tied to any additional data points, and that is what makes it just a postal address. It's not a violation of privacy.
Yeah, it's just an address of a property. You can drive down any street in the United States and you can see the address of that property. We're just giving you an address of the property. That is not tied to an individual, okay? A postal address by itself is not an individual identifiable item because you don't know who's in that house. You don't know who actually made that entree into that website. So there's no PII there. I've gone over this with lawyers who reviewed other lawyers, privacy experts. I can't say I've had 100% agreement, but I've had 90% agreement that a postal address alone is not PII. There's never been a case law that has refuted that or lost to that effect. It complies with CCPA, the California Consumer Protection Act, the GDPR, which doesn't even apply to us because it's over in Europe. But everything I've seen until there's case law that changes this is okay. All right, that's my point.
Yeah, and someone was asking if the cost for leads are going to go up with 3.0, and we are happy to declare that they are not.
No, they will not go up with 3.0. We've even had some of our own sales guys like, we need to raise the price. They've seen, we've done demonstrations, and this, we should charge more. I'd rather everybody's using this, that the printers in the audience here are able to benefit from getting more mailings, and it becomes more used. All right. We are not raising the price at this point. I can't guarantee that forever, but this will not be raised this year, guaranteed. Just another question we've had. Someone asked, can you do the slider in the opposite direction? Go, cold leads that are 1 to 3. Absolutely. You can slide that slider from 1 to 3, and then you can identify, I only want these crappy leads. We'll be able to lock that in where someone can choose a number and see the amount and not use the slide. So yes.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
Looks like that might be it.
All right. Wow, that's great. All right, I'll give another opportunity. Don't forget, ID will show it. Sean Dykes said to everyone, I'll keep bugging Morgan.
He wants marketing materials. He wants mailers. He wants resources. I told him we're working on it.
Keith says timing. Beta testing is happening now. I hope that we'll be able to expand the beta in the next couple of weeks. I can't give a date on when we'll roll it out to everyone because we don't know what's going to come up that isn't working right that we need to refine. But Keith, if you'd like to be on early beta, I'm sure we can arrange that in the next couple of weeks. Just hit up your channel manager and we'll get something going with you.
Yeah, I already facilitated an email with Terry so he can help.
Okay, great. Pricing, as we've said multiple times, is no plans to change the pricing at this time. All right. Open questions. What is your address and phone number?
I'll type it in there.
Maybe it's you personally, Morgan. I don't know what he's asking for.
Hey, that's fine.
What percentage of website visitors are captured by lead match? Excellent question. Okay, and I'd like to dive into that for a minute because it does vary widely. So we've seen as high as like 60 or 70% captured, and we've seen as low as 10% or less. All right, so what determines that wide range? From our experience, we found that less transient targets, meaning people that have been in their homes longer, people that are more established with their habits over a longer period of time, tend to get addresses better or more frequently. So millennials, young people that are moving a lot or have moved recently tend not to be as accurate, okay? So that is all I can tell you, although we have seen isolated incidents where people who have even lived in a place for a long time have picked up an address they had 10 years ago. Now, this is where I have issues, and I keep a close finger on the pulse of this, is the data providers can have bad data. They can buy a database, incorporate it into their massive database, and take data that was more accurate and overwrite it with worse data. And I've seen that happen. So unfortunately, this is the unknown that's out of my control. And this is why we we kind of extend these tests to see that, because I don't know. And even if I get 10 of my friends to test it out and it looks great, it can be crappy. I can have 10 of my friends test it out and they don't get good results, but then we can roll out to hundreds of people and the rest of them get good data. So this is the unknown. All right. Let's see, any other questions? We answered that. Scott says, are the IPs shielded? We will not give or share IP addresses of visitors with anybody. All right. In fact, I've asked my data provider to shield IP addresses from me. And the reason of this is an IP address is considered PII. So we do not accept IPs and I do not share IPs. So that's the story. Will URLs be truncated? That's from Adam. Everybody knows Adam. We think not. Adam, maybe you can provide some of the testing done so far, but I don't think they will. Our data vendor has promised they won't be, so I am hopeful, but I never like to guarantee anything because our previous data provider was great for 2 years and then all these weird things started happening. Okay, so I can tell you that if things start happening weird, we will go to another data vendor. That's the best I can promise at this point.
Sure.
Is Apple blocking IP addresses? I don't think so, and maybe Adam can expound on that, but it's very hard to block an IP address through a browser. As far as I know, that's not happening. Will a switch over from 3.0 be seamless? Great question. So here's the story. Different pixels. So the only way you get 3.0 data is to place another pixel, all right? You do not necessarily have to start a new job. We haven't figured out the mechanics of this. We can put both pixels side by side for a while, and we may do that, but it will not be seamless unless you ask for it, okay? So you must place a new pixel on your client's website to get 3.0 data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Clem was asking one more time, what's the difference between current lead match and lead match 3.0? So current lead match, we're utilizing one vendor. 3.0 will be utilizing a much more sophisticated vendor with access to a lot more accurate and valuable information, data, and technology.
And we'll have all that filtering that we don't currently have.
Exactly. So current lead match, you can only filter your purchases by geolocation and date range. Lead match 3.0, you can apply numerous filtrations. You only want to buy the leads? Fine. You only want to buy the matches? Great. You only want to buy the leads from one sub URL on the site. You want business addresses, you want residential, you want both. You can literally apply numerous filtration parameters prior to pulling down your leads, which we've had so many requests for that. And then also, of course, we have our built-in algorithm where we can provide just the most qualified leads. Are you selling the marketing automation software along with the address leads acquired from activity? So this is kind of that seamless web to print solution that we've been working on, Brad.
Okay. Where is this question? Can you say it again? Are you
selling the marketing automation software along with the address leads acquired from activity? So the web to print solution.
Well, here's the long-term thing of this. Your print provider or the print provider will need his own workflow solution to take those addresses, match them to a variable data print processing workflow to do that. We will be coming out with an API that you can take those leads and feed them into your print management system from us, but we will not be directly integrating with printers. That's up to the reseller to do that. So we will be going hog wild on getting that API ready, hopefully by the end of the year for that. Would a new pixel mean duplicate data? So, well, the duplicate data is up to you. You can run both pixels side by side and compare it, or you can have the previous pixel removed and shut off. But yes, they will provide duplicate data, but you will have the opportunity to flip back and forth between the other data set and the new data set. However, if you buy the same lead twice, you're going to have to pay for it twice because it's coming from two different vendors who are each charging me. So my recommendation to you would probably be to remove the old pixel. I see no reason to continue on with that once you're live and up and running with the new data. You still will have the data to purchase from the previous time backwards if you want, but again, if you get duplicate data from buying lead match 2 data and lead match 3 data, you will be paying twice. We do not mesh the two together and ensure there's only one, because I got to pay twice. So sorry.
And when will lead match 3.0 be ready for use? We have 3 questions about that.
So as I said, we're expanding the beta testing over the next couple of weeks. And I can't promise a date because if something comes up that we've got to fix or tweak, or I would hate to give a date and say, well, whatever happened? Well, you know, we found out blah didn't work like we planned it, or there was this bug, or there was this problem. So I don't want to give a date. And again, if there's somebody that's willing to put up with a little frustration and wants to go with a lead match 3 beta test, you're still going to pay for the data, but we can give you the pixel. Please get in touch with support or your channel manager, and we can probably get something like that started in the next week to 2 weeks. All right.
Fabulous. We're excited about it, Brad.
I am too. I get nervous, but I always would rather under promise and over deliver than give you all this stuff and say it's coming tomorrow. And you guys are like, what is this garbage? You know, try a software business, guys. You'll see what I mean.
It'll be fun, they said.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? All right,
guys,
cool.
A copy of this will be sent out to anyone who registered. Please contact your channel manager if you have any further questions. You guys can write to me directly, brad@dm20.com. I'm sort of the chief technologist here, and I'd be happy to talk to you guys about it because I need to know what problems you're anticipating or what I may have missed. So I have no problem answering your emails directly about this. So go ahead. You can leave them alone because they're just going to come to me anyway. So